The bizarre Roman banquets that served flamingo tongues were not just a display of wealth and power, but a fascinating aspect of Roman culinary culture that has captivated historians and food enthusiasts alike. The ancient Romans were known for their extravagant feasts, often involving exotic dishes and peculiar eating customs that went beyond mere sustenance, reflecting social hierarchies, political power, and a love for the unusual. In ancient Rome, banquets or convivia were much more than meals. They were social and political events where the elite gathered to flaunt their wealth and status. These feasts were meticulously organized and could last for hours or even days. The Roman elite would go to great lengths to procure rare and exotic foods, which were considered status symbols. Among these delicacies were peacock, ostrich, and yes, even flamingo tongues. The idea of serving flamingo tongues may sound absurd or even grotesque to modern sensibilities, but in ancient Rome, they were a prized delicacy. Flamingos were admired for their beauty and rarity, and their tongues were believed to have a particularly delicate flavor. The Roman fascination with unusual and luxurious foods extended beyond mere taste. It was also about the rarity and expense of the ingredients, which signified the host's wealth and ability to provide such extravagance. The origins of this culinary curiosity can be traced back to the Roman love for sophistication and luxury, terms that in Roman culture were often synonymous with excess and opulence. The consumption of exotic foods was a way to demonstrate one's sophistication and knowledge of the world, as well as to impress guests. The Roman aristocracy was highly competitive, and hosting an impressive banquet was a way to outdo rivals. Serving a dish as rare as flamingo tongues was a clear signal of wealth and culinary refinement. But how did these banquets unfold? A typical Roman banquet was divided into several courses, each more elaborate than the last. The first course, or gustatio, often included appetizers such as olives, eggs, and small fish. The main courses, or prime mensae, followed, featuring a variety of meats, vegetables, and sauces. It was during this course that exotic dishes like flamingo tongues would be served. The meal would conclude with secondae mensae, a dessert course featuring fruits, nuts, and sweet pastries. The setting of these banquets was as important as the food itself. The Roman dining room, or triclinium, was designed to accommodate guests reclining on couches arranged around a central table. This layout allowed diners to converse easily and share dishes. The decor of the room was often lavish, with frescoes, mosaics, and luxurious furniture enhancing the atmosphere of wealth and opulence. The diners would be attended by a host of slaves, who served the food and ensured that every need was met. The consumption of flamingo tongues and other exotic dishes was often accompanied by lavish entertainment. Musicians, dancers, and even acrobats were hired to entertain guests, creating a festive and indulgent atmosphere. The Romans also enjoyed intellectual stimulation at these gatherings, with poetry recitals, philosophical debates, and discussions on various topics being common features. The combination of rare foods, luxurious surroundings, and stimulating conversation made these banquets memorable events. One might wonder how the Romans acquired such exotic ingredients, given the limitations of ancient trade and transportation. The answer lies in the vastness of the Roman Empire and its extensive trade networks. The empire's reach extended from Britain in the north to North Africa in the south, and from Spain in the west to the Middle East in the east. This vast territory provided access to a wide variety of foods and ingredients. Flamingos, for example, were found in North Africa and the Mediterranean, where they were hunted for their meat and tongues. Roman chefs, known as coqui, played a crucial role in these extravagant banquets. They were skilled professionals who specialized in preparing exotic dishes and knew how to handle rare ingredients. These chefs were highly valued and often competed for the favor of wealthy patrons. They employed a variety of cooking techniques, including roasting, boiling, and frying, to prepare the dishes served at these feasts. The preparation of flamingo tongues involved removing the tongues, cleaning them, and cooking them with a variety of spices and sauces to enhance their flavor. The taste and texture of flamingo tongues were described as delicate and unique. The Romans often flavored them with a mixture of herbs, spices, and fermented fish sauce known as garum, a popular condiment in Roman cuisine. This sauce was made from fermented fish intestines and was used to enhance the flavor of a wide variety of dishes. The tongues were sometimes served as part of a larger dish or as a standalone delicacy, often accompanied by other luxurious ingredients such as peacock brains or ostrich eggs. The consumption of such exotic dishes was not without its critics. Some Romans viewed the extravagance of these banquets as a sign of moral decay and excess. The satirist Juvenal famously criticized the decadence of the Roman elite, suggesting that their obsession with luxury foods was a sign of moral decline. Despite these criticisms, the tradition of serving exotic dishes at banquets continued, reflecting the Roman fascination with luxury and excess. They were a means of establishing and reinforcing social hierarchies. The ability to host a lavish banquet and provide rare foods like flamingo tongues was a demonstration of wealth, power, and social status. Guests invited to these events were carefully selected, often reflecting the host's social and political alliances. In this way, banquets served as a form of social networking, where alliances were forged and strengthened. These extravagant feasts also played a role in the Roman economy. The demand for exotic foods and luxury items stimulated trade and commerce across the empire. Merchants and traders profited from supplying the Roman elite with the goods needed for their banquets, from rare spices and ingredients to fine tableware and decorations. The desire for these goods contributed to the development of trade routes and the exchange of cultures and ideas across the Roman Empire. As Christianity began to spread across the Roman Empire, attitudes towards these lavish banquets began to change. The early Christian church criticized the excesses of Roman society, including the indulgence in exotic foods. Christian teachings emphasized moderation and humility, in stark contrast to the opulence of Roman banquets. This shift in cultural values contributed to a decline in the popularity of such extravagant feasts, though they never entirely disappeared. Today, the idea of serving flamingo tongues at a banquet might seem bizarre or even repulsive, but it offers a fascinating glimpse into the culinary culture and social dynamics of ancient Rome. These banquets were a reflection of the empire's wealth, power, and fascination with the exotic. They were a stage on which the Roman elite displayed their sophistication and status, using food as a means of social and political expression. The legacy of these bizarre Roman banquets lives on in the rich culinary traditions of Italy and beyond. While the dishes served today may not be as exotic or extravagant, the importance of food in social and cultural life remains a constant. The story of flamingo tongues and other such delicacies reminds us of the diverse and complex history of human cuisine and the ways in which food can reflect broader cultural and societal trends. Flamingo tongues were a delicacy. In ancient Rome, flamingo tongues were considered a rare and exotic delicacy, often served at special occasions like banquets and feasts. Roman love for exotic foods. The Romans were known for their love of exotic and unusual foods. They would often import rare and unusual ingredients from around the world to impress their guests. Flamingo tongues were a status symbol. Serving flamingo tongues at a banquet was a status symbol, as it showed the host's wealth and ability to afford such an exotic and rare ingredient. Preparation was a long and laborious process. Preparing flamingo tongues for consumption was a long and laborious process. The tongues had to be carefully plucked from the flamingo's beak, then cleaned, marinated, and cooked in a variety of ways. Flamingo tongues were often served with sauces. To add flavor and texture, flamingo tongues were often served with a variety of sauces, such as honey, vinegar, and spices. Roman banquets were known for their excess. Roman banquets were notorious for their excess and extravagance. Guests would often drink and eat to excess, and flamingo tongues were just one of the many unusual dishes served. Flamingo tongues were believed to have medicinal properties. In ancient Roman medicine, flamingo tongues were believed to have medicinal properties, such as the ability to cure digestive issues and soothe sore throats. Flamingo tongues were a symbol of luxury and indulgence. Serving flamingo tongues at a banquet was a way for the host to show off their wealth and luxury. It was a symbol of indulgence and excess. Roman banquets often featured live entertainment. Such as music, dance, and acrobatics. Flamingo tongues were just one of the many attractions on offer. Flamingo tongues are still consumed today. Believe it or not, flamingo tongues are still consumed today in some parts of the world, particularly in Asia and South America. However, the practice of serving them at banquets is largely a relic of the past. In conclusion, the bizarre Roman banquets that served flamingo tongues are a testament to the extravagance and opulence of ancient Rome. These events were not just about eating, they were about displaying wealth, reinforcing social hierarchies, and indulging in the pleasures of the table. They offer a fascinating insight into the culinary culture of the Roman Empire, revealing the complex interplay between food, society, and power. While the idea of eating flamingo tongues may seem strange to us today, it was just one of the many ways in which the Romans celebrated their wealth and sophistication, leaving a legacy that continues to intrigue and captivate us centuries later. If you enjoyed this epic journey, please subscribe to our channel for more thrilling historical tales. Don't miss out on new videos. Hit the notification bell to stay updated.